Does your brain ever feel like a browser that has 100 tabs open and you can't find the one making the noise? If so, you're not alone. Overthinking can make life feel overwhelming, and that advice we often get, just make a list, feels impossible when your mind is already scattered in 100 different directions. Today, I want to share with you mind mapping techniques designed specifically for overthinkers. These methods don't force you to get all your thoughts in a tidy little box. Instead, they work the way your brain naturally jumps around, helping you move from chaos to clarity, and most importantly, to action. So if that sounds good to you, give this video a big thumbs up and let's dive into it. If you're new here, my name's Tanya. I'm a music teacher, business owner, planning fanatic, and mind mapping is one of my favorite ways to organize my crazy thoughts into a plan that I can execute. It can get confusing though because there's so many mind mapping methods out there. So let's talk about the ones that are specifically designed for brains like mine that are all over the place. And we're gonna start with reverse mind mapping. Traditional mind mapping starts with one central idea and then branches outward. But when you're overwhelmed, that structure can feel really forced. Reverse mind mapping, however, flips that whole system on its head. Instead of starting with that neat little circle and drawing all the lines, with reverse mind mapping, you just start dumping every thought, every idea, every random connection onto the page in little tiny bubbles. Let them scatter in every direction. It's fine. That's part of the process. You can use different colors for categories. You can turn your notebook sideways. This is about giving your brain permission to be messy. And here's the magic. Once everything is out of your head, you'll start to see patterns and connections. Connections that you didn't even know were there in the first place. This step validates the chaos. It says your thoughts don't have to be organized yet, just get them out. Now, once you've poured everything out, sometimes you do want a little structure. That's where radial mind mapping comes in. Radial mind mapping is that classic Tony Buzan style of mind mapping you may have seen before, and I really hope I pronounced his name correctly. But this book is fabulous and I'll link it in the description. You take all your little bubbles and you put one main idea in the center of the page. Then branch out like spokes on a wheel. It's simple, it's visual, and it keeps your focus anchored to a central theme. For overthinkers, this works just like a reset button. After all the chaos of reverse mind mapping, radial mapping helps you zoom in and start organizing around one key goal or problem. For example, you could put marathon training in the center of your page. Then you're gonna start branching out into categories like training, motivation, nutrition, equipment. Then put specific tasks you need to take for each of these areas. Let's take the running a marathon example. It's broken into 4 categories here: motivation, equipment, nutrition, and training. Each of these have individual spokes, and some of those spokes have individual actions. So for training here, the runs themselves, we need to think about 2 main things: when and where. So are we going to go with an AM or a PM? Let's put some branches on the where situation. Is it going to be speed work, or is it going to be a simple jog? And rest. You're going to have rest days, this part of it. But so you can see, mind maps allow you to turn everything around and come up with all of this. You can then transfer this into something that looks a lot neater. Future Tanya here. I wanted to pop in and let you know that I have something super exciting coming up this Saturday. It is my quarterly planning workshop, Plan Your Quarter with Confidence, and it's happening live this Saturday. In this 2-hour workshop, I'm going to show you how to plan for the time you actually have, not the 35 hours in a day you wish you had. I'm also going to help you break your big goals into monthly, weekly, and daily tasks that seem doable and achievable. And I'm going to help you create a flexible plan that will help you achieve your goals while honoring both your energy levels and your real life. So if you want to join me, I'm going to put a link in the description below, and I would love to see you inside. Now, radial mind mapping is a great way to get organized, but what if your thoughts are still all over the place? and they just don't feel connected yet. That's where affinity mind mapping comes in. Here's how it works. You jot every single idea down separately. Sticky notes are perfect for this. And then you notice these topics start to naturally cluster into tutorials, personal vlogs, planning tools, and productivity hacks. With affinity mind mapping, the clarity comes after the dump. Now, once you've identified the clusters, whether it be through affinity mapping or reverse mind mapping, you can move on into traditional bubble mapping. This is where you take one cluster of ideas and redraw it into a cleaner bubble diagram. Instead of a mountain of clustered thoughts, you now have categories that you can expand on. It's like moving you from the fog into the focus. But what if overthinking isn't just about your own thoughts? What if it's about a tough decision at work or a tough conversation you need to have with your partner? Dialogue mapping is basically just mind mapping for conversations. With dialogue mapping, you create a visual of the argument, the options, and the questions that are on the table. It helps you step back from the swirl of emotions going through your head and see things more objectively. This method is especially powerful for managers, teams, or even family decisions. Instead of looping in your head, but what if they say this or they'll say that, you put it all down on paper. Suddenly, you have the ability to evaluate this situation systematically. Now, finally, let's bridge the gap between ideas and actions with flowchart mapping. Flowcharts let you take all of those bubbles and turn them into if this, then that pathways. Think of it as merging mind mapping and productivity systems. For example, if this email comes in, I delegate it. If I finish task A, I immediately move to task B. This is straight out of David Allen's Getting Things Done framework. Taking thoughts out of your head and putting them into systems that run automatically. When you use flowcharts, your map no longer just lives inside your notebook. Instead, it becomes a workflow you can actually follow. Now, those are the mind mapping techniques we're talking about, but this is the important part that most tutorials skip altogether. Taking your mind maps and turning them into something usable. Don't just close your notebook and forget about them. Export your maps into formats that help you move forward. We talked about that a little bit with flowchart mapping. You can turn your mind maps into meeting notes. You can use them as conversation guides. You can even print and laminate them as quick reference charts. Mind mapping isn't just about organizing your thoughts. It's about moving them from reflection to implementation. We need to take action. It's also important to remember that mind mapping isn't a one-time fix. It's a practice. That's why I keep what I like to call a thinking book. It's a dedicated notebook where all of my mind maps live. Over time, I can look back and see how my thoughts and patterns evolve. And that, my friend, is incredibly powerful for growth. Remember, your mind is not broken because it's messy. You just need tools that respect the way you think. Mind mapping lets you take all that mental clutter, put it on paper, and see a path forward. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video with a fellow overthinker who could use a little clarity today. And if you try one of these techniques, let me know in the comments which one of them clicked for you. And until next time, peace out.